self-scout at the bye, or do you take?
Yeah, we'll take some time. I think that self-scout that you mentioned, that's a dynamic process. I think you're always doing that, and that extra day or two allows you a little bit more space to reflect and see, how other teams look at you. But that's a process that occurs each week.
With Will, I mean, just the consistency that he's brought, obviously, to the place kicker spot, and then obviously a big night and where he spent a lot of time in New Orleans. So just what have you gotten?
Yeah, really happy for him on that night. Obviously 4 for 4, the 52-yard long. He's done a great job, and as solid as he's been in the game, that's what we see in practice. So that's encouraging as a coach when you see the work pay off that he's putting in on the field, and then it shows itself on the game, and especially in New Orleans. I know it meant a lot to him, meant a lot to our team, and it was a good win. But now we're looking at Carolina, and we'll have a challenge for us.
Ben, you are number one in field position on one side of the ball, number 3 on the other. Is that the ultimate goal stat for a special team?
Well, I think that's part of it, Mike. I think that just speaks to the quality of our guys. I think that's an element of it. Anytime you can play complementary football, we hear that term a lot, and to your point, what that means setting up field position for your defense, for your offense, and we've had a very, very good start. I think there's still some, lack of a better term, meat on it, but that we can build upon. So still waiting for a couple of those big plays, but that starting field position is something that we talk about. It's something that Coach emphasizes, and it's good to see that come to fruition.
We're not all the way to the midway point, but 7 games in, kind of league-wide. What have you seen that you liked about the new kickoff or surprised you, or that you may not like?
Okay, I think what we like is what we're being told is the injury rate is down, especially in the high-speed, long-run collisions, number one. Number two is the return rate is up. Right now it rests around 33%, which is higher than it was, and I think that that's going to continue to increase just because of weather conditions and such. I think as far as schematically, we've been pretty good at it. It's interesting, like when you watch what schemes and techniques different teams are using, and so it's still a learning process. But I think overall, stock is up on the play.
It's a copycat league, obviously. Have you seen the teams that have done it well? Has the league sort of coalesced around schemes in terms of covering and returning kicks, or is it still pretty varied?
Yeah, I think it's still pretty varied. I do think you're starting to see some trends, and not only schematically, but the way that teams are blocking people and such. And we've been pretty good on the return side. So people are looking at us, and to go to the self-scout point, now you look at it and say, okay, so what could we vary differently? But I'm encouraged where it's at and excited to see where it goes. We're just want to get pitches to hit. We got a couple last week. I think we made a little bit of hay there, but we still have some growth to make in that phase.
Time for 2 more.
Yeah, is that different? Not that you didn't pay attention to the way you return things before, but you were described as like almost a run play when you just miss it, like you see something.
Yeah, so
we also don't want to. They don't kick off the rest of the game. You're fine with that?
Yeah, I think that the play is hitting faster. I think that's been a common theme, that the returner gets onto the coverage faster than you originally would have thought. There was a return last week. Cincinnati ended up getting a long one there on Cleveland, and so you're learning from all those, and again, you just technique-wise just continuing to improve.